Hello fashionistas, I am here with Jason Baerg from Ayimach Horizons, and for Fashion Art Toronto I am Tashina Thompson. At first glance at your collection, I couldn't help but feel so much life. There was bright colors, you had sharp shapes and angles, but when you take a further look, you just feel so personal. This feels very personal art. I want to know what's the message or the ideas you have behind your latest collection?
Thank you. I really think about dynamics. I'm very, very interested in potentialities. So when I think about the generosity of someone who is performative in the way they engage, it's really about animating community. And so when I think about someone who is consciously bringing style into space, that comes from a place that is generous. So when I think about dynamics, that's really what I want to bring forward in the work. You know, when we think about art, when we think about drawing, painting, sculpture, or installation, I think what fashion has to offer us is actually movement. So how does the eye travel? And when a person is in motion, how can that bring forward even more energy? So I'm really thinking about these things in creation.
You're a well-rounded artist. There's science in there, there's insight, and there's actual okay. So you are a registered member of the Métis Nation of Ontario. You are involved in countless initiatives to boost Indigenous arts and cultures. You have such pride and respect in the Indigenous community by how you incorporate it. We see it in your everyday life. Can you tell us how you incorporate that into your fashion and your art?
It's an evolving process, and I've really enjoyed all the teachings I receive, you know, and I think I'm constantly holding myself accountable and listening and trying to respond in the best way possible. So when I think about this collection, and when I think about space and protocol and respect, I think about opening the show with an Indigenous woman, and that recognizes the esteemed space they hold in our community. And then following, there will be 3 two-spirited people. So we also hold our Indigenous queer in a very safe space, and they're regarded and seen as sacred. And then we follow another lineup of men and women, and then the show closes with an Indigenous male figure who really represents strength and protection and every good thing in which we esteem our men to be.
I love how inclusive this is sounding. Sounds very thought through and very passionate as well.
And thank you. And I just also want to state that these are ideas. You know, not all of our women see themselves as you know, that central figure in community, and not all of our men see themselves as strong, you know, figures that has everyone's back. But this just kind of, to me, when I think also about fashion, I think about, you know, if we were to book a model, what are the 2 specific spaces that hold a lot of weight? Who's opening the show and who's closing the show? So I'm really trying to acknowledge with significance, you know, who's opening and who's closing.
I like that you're acknowledging certain kinds of people that may be like overlooked in your collection. The man that may not feel a certain kind of way, the woman that may not feel a certain way, and the two-spirited. You're bringing such recognition to these people in your art.
Thank you.
I'm loving this.
Great.
So for those who don't know, you are a veteran in the art world. You've achieved so much, and you've gone home with plenty of awards. I would like to know, before your first design as Ayimach Horizons, what brought you to the fashion world, the art world?
Well, I'm really grateful for, you know, all those people that have opened doors for me, for people who have championed me. I think about kind of mentorship spaces in our community. You know, you're a beautiful, strong person, and I'm sure there are beautiful, strong people that have shaped you. And so I think about my mom, Doris Lanigan. She's the senator for the Métis Nations of Ontario. And she taught me how to draw. She taught me how to sew. And so I think about also those people who have championed and mentored my development in community. And so I have to acknowledge those people, my teachers, my educators, my friends, my inspiration. And I think like other people who are constantly teaching me are my students. So I feel like we're all teaching each other.
Yeah.
So I hope to give as much as I receive.
So my last question, and I don't want you to be humble, I want you to be straight up with me,
Okay, great. Yeah, sure.
Because you put a lot of work into this, so I want you to be honest.
Okay.
What makes Ayimach Horizons that brand for us to look for?
Well, I think we need to internalize what we feel is important and relevant, you know, and I think when we think about, you know, what is really our greatest concerns, I think our environment is definitely one of them. And then in conversation today with my students, I was really surprised to hear how they sense technology carving the path into futurities. So we think about the environment and we think about technologies and how can we bring these spaces together to build the best pathway forward. And so I'm thinking about, you know, new languages and new aesthetics. How can we offer exciting visual experiences, exciting things to wear on our bodies that also are signifiers to our community. So when I think about triangles, I think about geometering. So geometry literally translates to earth measurement. So when we think about a triangle, you know, conceptually it could speak to, you know, this is where we live, this is where we hunt, and this is the mountain, and that creates a triangulation in space. So that's an earth measurement. Or we could think about a mountain. The way I'm using triangles, it's reminding us, so if there's a triangle in the front of the garment, we're thinking about how we're drawing source from the source. And if there's a triangle pointing down, that also lets our communities that we're acknowledging that we're reciprocating and acknowledging that source and that we're consciously trying to move towards sustainable practices. So that's how I'm using these kind of like, these, you know, like geometrics in fashion within a Western space have been like offered through a lens of, you know, modernism. But we're calling back, you know, the circle to also acknowledge the planetary, the cosmological. So we're expanding our understandings and we're acknowledging these things in space as we wear the garments and as we're sending messages to our audiences.
I had so much fun talking to you. I want to thank you for being here and being so honest and sharing more about you, Jason.
Thank you.
And your line, the Ayimach Horizon. Thank you so much. And we're so excited to watch your live collection on April 21st. But until then, fashionistas, you can follow the Ayimach Horizons at Ayimach_Horizons on Instagram. And I will see you guys very, very soon. For Fashion Art Toronto, I'm Sheena Thompson.
Thank you.